Hey guys, Hybrid here. Now I just finished watching 22 Jump Street, but this is not a 22 Jump Street review. Excuse me, this is a review of Avengers Assemble Season 1. I think it was Season 1, the season was very long, which I'll get to, obviously, in this review. And I know I have crappy lighting, just ignore that. But anyways, Avengers Assemble, I originally thought, because of something, I think it was Jeff Loeb, I think he said that this would be a I didn't even notice my cat was there until I saw the screen, sorry. Anyways, I thought this was a continuation of Avengers Assemble. Not Avengers Assemble, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. But it's not. So I know a lot of people are confused about that. This takes place in the same universe as the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show and Hulk's and Agents of Smash. Now, unlike those two shows, Avengers Assemble is not total crap. It's actually a decent show, somewhat. Now, a few things people are obviously going to notice is that the cast of this show, not cast as in voice actors, but cast as in, people on the Avengers team, they are the same as in the movie, minus the addition of Falcon in this one. Now, that it was good and bad. Good because I guess it gets people familiar with that cast, of Avengers, but bad because Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes left us with a pretty awesome cast of Avengers. Like, we started from the core original group, including Wasp and Ant-Man. We ended up getting, obviously, Scott Lang Ant-Man, Hank Pym as Yellow Jacket. We got Black Panther, who I was hoping would be in the show somewhat, has not been in yet. We got Vision, which is, I'm assuming they're going to say Vision for second season, because I'm assuming Ultron will appear to coordinate with the Age of Ultron movie. And, obviously Miss Marvel also, which, we didn't get in this show. But the show has a lot of good things for it too. First off, the animation. I think Man of Action was in charge of that. They did a really good job. I really did like their art. I remember, I think it was Generator Rex. I never watched the show. Whenever I saw, like trailers and stuff for it, images for it, it looked like it was a pretty good show visually. This show did do a good job on that front. I know a few people complained about Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes in that matter, and I'm going to stop bringing up Earth's Mightiest Heroes because I'm not trying to compare the two shows. I'm just using that as an example because that's literally what came like months before. They didn't give a lot of time to adjust for Avengers Assemble. Now, are you jumping my lap again? Nope. Okay. Now, speaking on the shows, some things I didn't like. I did not like Black Widow. The reason being, it's not that I don't like the character, but she was barely in the show. And when she did appear, it was just like, well, why are you here now? Kind of thing. So, this show's premise, essentially, is the Avengers get back together, because they kind of hint at them disbanding. So, they get together, and essentially, they're fighting the Cabal. Now, if you don't know who the Cabal is, the Cabal are a bunch of supervillains. It's like they're masters of evil, kind of, for the show. So essentially, the leader is Red Skull, and the other members we have is a Touma, leader of Atlantis. We have Dracula, obviously Lord of the Vampires. We have Hyperion, I'll get to Hyperion and a Touma in more detail in like a few seconds. We had MODOK, who is also controlling the Super Adaptoid after Justin Hammer made it. And see, is that it? I'm gonna say that's it. Super Adaptoid. Sorry, I think that's it. I'm just drawing blanks. Sorry, I'm really tired right now, and I have work in like 2 hours. Not looking forward to that. But moving on, yeah. So a Touma, I was surprised they went with. The reason why I'm surprised they used a Touma is because usually when they do Atlantis stuff, they use Namor. So I'm wondering if they're gonna introduce Namor later on. Speaking on a Touma though, he was very powerful, which is a lot of things obviously that these villains had going for them. They were very powerful villains, which was good and bad. It's good because, I guess it poses a threat, but it's bad because, these villains come out guns blazing, so to speak. They're fighting, and then, it takes the whole Avenger team to defeat them, and then later on, it takes, like, one Avenger to defeat them, which I understand, once you've fought them before, you get used to, like, their weaknesses, all that stuff. But, a Touma, for example, I think he either lifted Manhattan or he lifted a large chunk of Manhattan from like the water. Like he was under the, like he was in the water and he lifted it from the ground up. Like, he literally lifted the city from the ground up. That is ridiculously powerful, very, like, strength-wise, and Hulk, matched that strength later, only when Hulk got incredibly mad, to the point where he was starting to emit gamma radiation, if I remember correctly from the episode. So to see that happen, and then later on, there's all like, yay, we're fighting you guys, like it's nothing, kind of. Like, that kind of bothered me. Like, they did still keep a somewhat reoccurrence of how powerful they were, where it just wasn't like an easy, swift, beat out. It was a challenge still, somewhat. But it wasn't nearly as much of a challenge as it was the first time. And after showing a feat like that, like lifting Manhattan, that's ridiculous. That's incredibly strong. And to just kind of like show that and then not really keep that up to that standard later on. Like, honestly, a Touma should have been able to wipe everybody off with no problem, which is a flick of his finger. So that kind of got me, feeling, like, not feeling weird, but it kind of got me thinking whenever I saw a Touma, like, why is he doing this if he's so strong? He could just take care of everything right there on the spot sometimes. Speaking of other very powerful people, we got Hyperion. He has his own episode when he was introduced, which kind of goes into him, but it really confused me because right now Marvel Comics has two different Hyperions. They have the old one, which this one seems to be based off of, which is, I think if you look in the Marvel Wikia, it says Mark Milton Earth S, I think. But it's the one with the red and the gold, or red and yellow. Now, on the show, they basically made him Evil Superman. Now, currently Marvel Comics, Marvel Now, the Marvel Now stuff, there's another Hyperion, which is, he's really good, but he's totally different than this one. So I was thinking when they introduced Hyperion on this show, they'd use the one they currently use in comics, instead of confusing people that read the comics and using the old one. Also, I wish they didn't use him, because while I understand, like, it's not that I don't like Hyperion, but a character I feel like would have been much more interesting to have on the show is Sentry. The reason being because Sentry is a paranoid schizophrenic. And he's, there's been times in the past where he's been manipulated to work for bad guys, like Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers. So I thought that would have been much more interesting if they did that on the show versus Hyperion. Because Hyperion, his motivation for the first episode where he's introduced, but after that, it's like, what is his motivation? Like, why is he still doing this? Like, he's so powerful, just like a Touma. He's so powerful, you're just thinking, why is he working for the Red Skull? Why is he working with these people in the Cabal when he could do anything he wants pretty much on his own? And another thing that also got me was, there's a few filler episodes. A lot of them, it just was really stupid. Now, I'm not trying to get on them for having filler episodes, because every TV show has filler episodes, essentially, unless you're Breaking Bad, which, if I remember correctly, they didn't ever really have filler episodes, besides like a small handful with the whole series as a whole. But this show, they had quite a few filler episodes, which really threw me off, because they have a lot of Cabal-focused ones, and some of those were really good. Like, the first few episodes were pretty bad, but after that, it kind of found its footing, and it got pretty good. Then they had a filler episode, and then, it just kind of, it felt disjointed, if that makes sense, because they'd have breaks. Hiatuses, like every TV show does. They've had, like, hiatuses, and the season is 26 episodes. So it feels very long, which brings me to something I think I might have mentioned earlier, but Black Widow. She is like in and out this whole show. They should have had the first half of the season been the Cabal. Second half of the season been, focus on what Black Widow has been doing, because it seems obvious she's been working for Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D., doing S.H.I.E.L.D. espionage related stuff, but we don't get to see any of it. It would have been really cool to see, maybe is she acting like a double agent, double agent, what is she doing? Is she trying to infiltrate something like Hydra, AIM? And, like, we don't know, because she's so in and out, and it's not like they give us a big explanation either. They just kind of do hints at it. So I'm assuming it's going to come to light in Season 2, but it's like she's supposed to be a main member. Why is she not being presented as a main member? If you get what I'm saying, like, she's practically a guest star, or a reoccurring cast member at the most, versus a main character. Like, she's on all the promotional items, all the title card items, but in the actual show, I can only think of like 4 episodes she's in, and that I can only think of like one where she does anything useful, and in that one episode, some BS thing that she does, like some explosion that she causes. Now, they did do a good job, I think, introducing some other characters. Like they introduced Guardians of the Galaxy in one episode. They introduced, this Guardians of the Galactus that's the only episode really filler episodes that I feel like is kind of noteworthy in a sense. But it was kind of random. This show suffered from what a lot of TV shows suffer, a lot of cartoons suffer, I must say, which is random crap. Like this episode, that episode, just same thing with the Odin episode. Both of those are filler episodes, and it just felt really out of place and random, especially the Odin one. The Odin one, it seemed obvious. If you couldn't tell, they're basing a lot of the character designs and a lot of the designs in general off of the movies. Which is also why Falcon was weird. I expected Falcon to appear like he would in Captain America the Winter Soldier, which didn't bug me. But the revelation that he's actually only 17 years old was really, I feel like, out of place. Not because I don't want Falcon to be younger, but because he's working on science with Tony Stark. And I'm sorry, Tony Stark is a genius. So how is, I know there's child prodigies, but it just seemed really weird where, you thought, oh, maybe he's younger, like, 20s, 25, something like that. Nope, he's 17. So it seemed kind of odd that because they just randomly throw that at you and they never really follow up on it. Like, it has no importance besides that one episode. And by the way, that episode is so stupid, with like his mom. That was like the worst episode I could think of top of my head besides the Odin episode. But the show tried. Like, yes, the humor was off at times. Yes, Tony Stark tried way too hard to do the one-liners every single episode. But I think the show overall gets like a C. If I give it like an A to F scale, it gets a C. Because it tried. It showed the effort. And I feel like if they just worked on the humor, they worked on the writing of the episodes a little bit better, the pacing of the episodes. When you take breaks, I feel like the networks know. Not networks. I feel like the showrunners know when they're gonna be on a hiatus. Like their winter hiatus, all that stuff. So they need to plan the episodes accordingly. You don't have a big episode, the big revelation in one episode, which is supposed to be followed up by the next episode, and then that doesn't happen for like 2-3 months, and then we're supposed to follow that episode as if it's nothing. So yeah, the show had its problems. I feel like I'm having my own problems reviewing this show, but. Yeah, I'd say if you had the choice to watch it, it's online for free. Go ahead. That's how I saw it. Like the whole season's posted, just like I saw Beware the Batman before they finished airing them on Disney XD or Cartoon Network respectively. They're up online. It's not as good as Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. In my opinion, those are some pretty big boots to fill. But I feel like for what we got, it's at least better than what it could have been, which is like. From Spectacular Spider-Man to Ultimate Spider-Man, at least we didn't get that big of a downgrade in quality. I feel like out of all the shows that Disney XD is producing for Marvel, I feel like this one's definitely the safest bet to watch. But still, it's all up to your guys' opinion. So if you've seen Avengers Assemble, comment below, do you like it? What would you like to see? I still want to see Sentry to some capacity, even though I doubt it at this point because we got Hyperion. But I want to see Black Panther, really. I want to see Black Panther. I am betting we're getting Ultron and Vision when they air the show season 2, whenever it's going to be. Because I'm assuming they're going to try doing it around the time Age of Ultron comes out next May, I believe. So, yeah, expect that. Expect Ultron, expect Vision. I really didn't want to make this review because I didn't like the show that much per se. But I know some people like hearing thoughts on it, so there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Sorry I'm really tired, but I felt like this had to be made kind of because I got a message about it, about like if I was watching it, how did I feel about it. So there you go. Avengers Assemble Season 1. What do I give it? I give it a C, and I'll see you guys later.